At the spring practice, the Hawkeyes tried out numerous different looks on both offense and defense as they try to make the jump in the right direction. From Kinnick Stadium, Ryan Paris, DITV. And while the goalkeeping room is relatively inexperienced when it comes to in-game action, the defensive line in front of them has a ton of experience and leadership to lean on. The recent wave of Trump tariffs began on April 2nd with the NASDAQ closing around 17,500. In the ensuing days, it dropped to the low 15,000s before Trump issued a 90-day pause, and now we stand at the high 16,000. Last night, Hawkeye fans went to bed dreaming of a signature field-storming victory. Instead, they're heading into a bye week still wondering when their team will take the next step. From Kinnick Stadium, Ryan Paris, DITV Sports. Now just 3 short months remain until these stands are filled and players are back on the diamond. From Dwayne Banks Field, Ryan Paris, DITV Sports. I'm here at Kinnick Stadium where the spring football practice gives Hawkeye fans a look at the future in the middle of a long offseason.
Ryan Paris has our look around the Big Ten.
Today we're going to switch things up a little bit on Around the Big Ten by playing a little game of College Football Playoff Bachelor. Our 5 eligible candidates range from long shot to likely to lock, and we'll get to know each of them over the course of this segment. Let's start in Ann Arbor with our first long shot of the day, the number 18 Michigan Wolverines. They have a 7-2 record this year with remaining games against Northwestern, Purdue, and their hated rival Ohio State. Yeah, Cole, that's right. No Hawkeyes go in round 1 last night, but that's expected to change on days 2 and 3. The top-ranked Iowa prospect is running back Caleb Johnson, and he's expected to go in either round 2 or 3 tonight. In 2024, Johnson's 21 rushing touchdowns broke Sean Green's record of 20 for a single season, and his 1,537 rushing yards made for the 3rd best mark in Iowa's single-season history. Moving on to the Day 3 prospects, headlined by defensive lineman Y.A. Black. Black's projected to go sometime in the later rounds of the draft, but could go early on Day 3 if the fit is right. And tight end Luke Lachey and DB Sebastian Castro straddle the line of drafted and undrafted prospects, but either way, both players should find their way onto NFL rosters. And then we dip into the tier of players who probably will go undrafted, but do have a shot of making an NFL roster in the spring. That tier is headlined by Jay Higgins and Nick Jackson, the 2 standout linebackers for the Hawkeyes last season, guard Connor Colby, and DBs Jermari Harris and Quinn Schulte. After last night's drama, the rest of the draft should be just as exciting. Back to you in the studio. Lucy Olson has been on a tear throughout the month of February, averaging 25.6 points per game and leading the Hawks to a 4-1 record in their last 5 games, entering the contest against number 3 ranked UCLA. But on Pink Out Day, Olson was playing for a little bit more, donning "My Mom" on the back of her jersey. The annual Pink Out game for Iowa basketball is meant to raise awareness for breast cancer and celebrate its survivors, like Olson's mom, who defeated the disease twice.
So she made it out. It was super special. Yeah, got to share that moment with her. I know she was excited.
Against the Bruins, she was held to just 17 points, but provided the crowd with a lot to cheer for. It started with a buzzer-beating 3 to end the first quarter, bringing the deficit down to just 2 points, and continued with another buzzer-beater at the end of the second quarter. And down the stretch, Olson buried each of her 3 free throws from the stripe to tie the game. But with 3 seconds left, disaster struck for Olson and the Hawks.
That was like, all right, you hit the free throw, so we're going to win this game. I think everyone kind of felt that momentum. And then the foul, I just got caught on the screen.
With one more chance, the Hawks were unable to get the ball into Olson's hands and came up short on the final look. Despite the loss, Olson continues to stack together big performances in what has been her best month of the season. From Carver Hawkeye Arena, Ryan Paris, DITV Sports. Coats, ponchos, and trash bags. Whatever the waterproofing method of choice was, frigid rain didn't deter the Kinnick faithful for coming out for one of the biggest games of the season.
That's typical of November football here. To our fans, were outstanding. The weather could have been a challenge, and you'd never know with them. They didn't dampen their enthusiasm.
Though it did change the way the game was played. It started on just the 3rd drive of the game when a bad snap led Iowa punter Reese Dakin to kick the ball out of the back of the end zone to give Oregon a safety instead of prime field position for a touchdown. But interestingly enough, that wasn't a sign of things to come, as special teams became one facet of the game that seemed immune to the weather.
A big motto for us all year has just kind of been, don't worry about the elements. All that matters is the game. All that matters is how we play.
Iowa's defense held Oregon to a field goal try right before half, but Atticus Sappington blasted a crucial 46-yarder right down the middle. And even though the intensity of the rain tapered off in the second half, the miscues kept on coming. Deep in Oregon territory in the 3rd quarter with a chance to take the lead, Kenny Weechin fumbled and gave the Ducks a big break. But Oregon star QB Dante Moore wasn't immune either, losing his footing on a big 3rd down when Oregon was driving. From that point on, the narrative shifted to teams conquering the elements as Gronowski and the Hawks made the adjustments to put a big drive together.
There's different ways that I can, I hold the ball a little bit differently. It's just trying to not squeeze it as hard so it slips out of my hands. But in the second half, when the rain kind of subsided, it was feeling pretty good out there.
But that set the stage for Sappington to play hero, making his third field goal of the game in the final seconds to tear Iowa fans' hearts apart once again. 3 losses on the year and the death blow in all 3 coming in the final 2 minutes of the game. From Kinnick Stadium, Ryan Paris, DI TV Sports.
And I'll send it over to Ryan Paris, who's in the downtown district in Iowa City with an update from the bar scene.
Thanks, Cole. I'm at the Ped Mall where you might expect to see the bars packed with fans, but overall, today's crowd was lighter than expected. Iowa City is known for its vibrant downtown scene, and after students packed the bars for a national championship last year, some may have expected a similar turnout for Caitlin Clark's return. But on a day in which tickets at Carver went for hundreds of dollars, downtown, it was the free live music that attracted the biggest crowd. Fans filled up the Ped Mall to dance and soak up sun, but around Iowa City's bars, the story was the same at multiple locations. Low turnout.
It's pretty minor. Expected more people for sure.
Hopefully it picks up maybe a little bit after the game or later tonight.
At Mickey's, the game was on in the background. At Sports Column and Reunion, most of the people that were there sat at the counters or outside. And Airliner had the highest turnout with its attendance boosted by its Sunday deals.
Well, there's dollar slices at Airliner, and then it's always just an electric atmosphere, so we can...
As Clark and the Fever knocked down shot after shot, it soon became clear that the game was headed towards being a blowout.
Everything about it is just amazing to watch, and just knowing that someone came from Iowa and playing the WNBA is just great to see.
Between Carver, watch parties, and the bars, today Hawkeye fans were able to celebrate Clark's return in a variety of ways. While overall the bar scene was pretty sparse today, those that did come out got treated to a show to be proud of. From the Ped Mall, Ryan Paris, DI TV Sports. Over 200 students and community members gathered at the Pentacrest to speak out against the removal of the university's DEI programs on Saturday morning. The protest follows the university announcing that cultural living learning communities will not be returning next year. Demonstrators used a variety of ways to get their message across, including chants, speakers, signs, and dancing, as they rallied behind the benefits that DEI programs provide to students.
With the LLCs in place, it allows people to live in comfort with people who share the same identities.
But it's also about the important diversity of opinion, and we can't have a good diversity of opinion and new ideas and new thoughts without the diversity of a student body.
And they also believe the effects of the decision impact more than just students.
There is no neutral in this. You can't be neutral in this. It will come to you. It does affect you and affects us. And my little kiddo.
The overall goal was to make the university reconsider its stance, as DEI remains a hot topic in the national headlines. Protests like today provide some in the Hawkeye community a chance to make their voices heard. From the Pentacrest, Ryan Paris, DI TV. In the middle of crossover season like we are right now, every weekend's top 5 plays are sure to deliver. This week we've got a look across football, basketball, and soccer. Let's start at number 5 with Mark Gronowski rolling out to the right side. Thinks about running it into the end zone, but the defenders close in, floats it to the back, and Dayton Howard skies into the air to bring it down. Take a look at this one once again. High point textbook, just like you should when you're a big-bodied receiver like number 7 is. Now moving over to number 4 with some soccer. Major cross towards the back post. Kenzie rolling, slots it across the face of goal. Just a few minutes into the game, it proves to be the only goal scored and the winner that puts the Hawks into the round of 32, and they will celebrate that one all day long. At number 3, Mark Gronowski. Once again, this is right off rip in the game. Rolls out to his right side again, fires on the run, an absolute dot to Jacob Gill, who turns upfield, runs this one all the way down, pushed out inside the 10, sets up that eventual Dayton Howard touchdown. At number 2 in basketball, Bennett search to Tavion Banks. Here comes backdoor Alvaro Fulgaris rising up and throwing one down on the net. Gets some hang time as well for the big fella. Big second half for him in that game. And now for our number 1 play of the weekend, Mark Gronowski. He actually disappears from the corner of the screen, but now the ball ends up in his hands. A little Philly action for the Hawkeyes. Take a look at this one. Completes a hat trick on the day for Gronowski. Handoff to Weekend, pops it back to Reese Vanderzee, the high school quarterback, who throws over to Mark Gronowski, just like the Philadelphia Eagles drew it up. That's a big-time touchdown for the Hawkeyes, and an awesome week for the top 5 plays.